Morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whenever you're watching this. So, pretty much what this video is going to do is give you some notes on our first game that we just played, some takeaways, some things to look forward to at the next game, what adjustments we may need to make. Also, I'm going to give a description of what kind of formation I believe the other team was using, which is a bit different. They had some like their stronger players in certain positions, so I'll cover that. And using the tactical soccer board sheet, and I'll also will use another medium, which is like a graphing chart from player position, which I took straight out of SC25. So I played a simulation game and went into the summary part where you can check your Samurai and performance of of that game, and it tells you uh, possession, shooting, all the analytics from the game. And I went into the overall position summary and went down every single position to give you an insight of what is the general area that you should be playing for your position. So I'm gonna go position by position. You'll find out which one is yours. Like, okay, cool. So that's my position to play. Okay, so now I have an idea of where I should be at throughout the whole game. So if you're on the left side, there's no reason why you should end up on the right side because your role is whatever that role is, whether it's a wing, midfielder, or fullback for the left side of that field. We have someone covering the middle part. We have someone covering the right part, the right side. So this is more a matter of being disciplined to staying in your position, right? Staying where you're supposed to be at. Otherwise, you will be in a position to where we'll leave that area undefended, or if we're pushing up and we're in offense, we are put in the position that we could have gotten a cross pass from that area if it was undefended or there was wide open and no one was in that position. So this is why it's very important that you're in your position, right? So let's go on with the nose. So the first thing, like I said, out the box, out the gate, position discipline. You have to maintain discipline and where you're supposed to be at for your role, right? So in a fast-paced game, and you're like in a high intense game, it is easy to get sidetracked. And if you're not as disciplined, you can forget that, oh man, I'm supposed to be back here. We all get excited. There's a lot of nerves, and you just want to play. We want to have fun. We want to play, but sometimes we get caught up, and we have to remind ourselves that, hey, oh man, it's like I got it back to where I'm supposed to be at. This is what my job's supposed to be. They have their job. We have someone that I shouldn't worry about that because this is a team comprised of a lot of moving parts. Everyone needs to do their parts for us to do, an overall good job. So it's like a wheels on a cog on a wheels. If you know what I'm like a clock, an analog clock has a different gears, right? So if one gear is not turning, then it's gonna stop the other gears from moving, and the clock's gonna stop, right? So it's kind of like that, right? So every gear that's on that field, it needs to be in motion where they're supposed to be at, right? I'm kind of like a bad analogy because I'm using motion instead of something like position, but hopefully you kind of get the idea. Bunching up in one area, that's also contributes to position discipline. So there's a lot of time that we're bunched up. There's a lot of like defenders in this part of the field when it should have been here and you had other people there. So that causes confusion. It causes disorganization because, and it's not so much like the whole team, right? So it's a bunch up because you have people where they're supposed to be at, then you have other people's going there trying to assist and help, which is fine, it's great, but you have to remember that's their job. Their job is for that area. And in case they lose, they get beat or whatever, then that's when you come to play. But not until the ball enters that certain frame, that certain part of your responsibility, right? So you're leaving your post to go over there. They're there, so now you have all these people, and it causes confusion because hey, it's like I'm supposed where why are you over here, this and that, and everyone's fighting for the same ball. Everyone's fighting for the same ball. Everyone's all bunched up, and then the ball comes out and heading toward the direction where you're supposed to be at. It's undefended, and they score. So we have to be a better job at not bunching up, right? Staying in front of the defender, right? Staying in front, under not by the side, because if you're by the side, you're not in front of them. You give them a direct line of sight towards the goal. So one of the things that we saw a lot of during the game was when we were defending, we weren't, you know, approaching. We weren't really being as aggressive as we should have. We weren't really putting pressure on the defense. We waited. We waited until it was too late, and by that time, they're passing the ball to another open teammate, and they're taking a shot at the goal. So we can't do that. We can't just sit there and let them come to us. We got to come to them when it's appropriate and when within your field of responsibility for your position, right? So stay in front of the defender. They're there. You're here. Don't wait for them because they're gonna attack. They're gonna attack, and if you don't apply pressure, you're giving them all that time. You're buying them time to come forward, to come even closer and closer, and get in a more prime position to go for a shot, take a shot at the goal. So it is easier to take a shot at goal when you're inside the box than it is outside. And if you're not really putting the pressure on them and you're not going to them, they're closing that distance in. So you want to keep them out the box. You want to approach. You want to apply pressure. And be kind of aggressive. Can't let them. Can't just let them walk in. Wait, especially if it's just one. If you got them beat, you had like a 3-on-1. Don't be scared to put that pressure on. Apply them where it makes sense, right? And that's something that we'll learn. The more you play, the more most like, okay, now I got to play pressure, or whoever's controlling the defense back. So the center back's the one that should be kind of orchestrating everything in the background. Hey, go apply pressure to this person. Go pick up 10. Hey, go pick up 7. Don't just wait. They'll tell you to get up there, and they'll tell you when to get back. So if you're unsure, listen to the defense captain, right? The center back or the goalie. They're the ones that has more eyes on the field, and they should tell you, hey, so and so's coming hot. You need to go and apply that pressure so we can slow them down. Because if they're coming from breakaway, we need to slow them down so that way the midfielders that are up there, they need to catch up. They're gonna fall back and help, and so you need to buy them time because they're if it's a breakaway and they're flying, you're gonna have a hard time if you're just standing there waiting, and they're not gonna wait for you. They're going to sidestep. They're gonna like a juke left or juke right, and then get in a line of sight to take a shot, and they can take a shot at goal. So we gotta do a better job with that. Not setting up for certain defenses. So corner kicks, we have to be quicker with them. So, and as you see, they're like fast paced the whole time. The foot was on the pedal all the way down throughout the whole game. So they weren't waiting for us. They weren't even waiting for the referees. So as soon as they had the call that it was a corner kick, they got the ball. They knew what to do, and they go for the corner kick. And we weren't prepared majority of the time for this corner kick. We weren't where we're supposed to be at. Again, position discipline pertains also to those defenses, the corner kicks, um, throw-ins, things like that. So we talked about where you're supposed to be at when we send up the corner kick defense. That did not happen. We had no one in the box. We had maybe one person by one in the goalpost, and that's it. People like lost and confused a lot of times. And again, nerves, in the first game, like you tend to forget a lot of things when you're like on the spot. And when you're in the spotlight, it's like, oh man, it's like I get it. I was there. So this is one of those things that just it's a time, it's the experience. It takes some experience and more practice. So something you get used to. So don't worry about it. Now that it's brought to your attention. Hey, this is don't worry about this. This is what focus on. So that way you can do a better job at it next time. So next time, I was like, okay, okay, last game. I didn't do this, so you know what? You need to work on some bit more. You make the adjustments so that way you perform even better at the next game. Next on, I have here. Yeah, we okay. So we stopped playing after goal block, and we got scored on. So don't stop playing until the whistle hasn't blown. If the whistle has not been blown, that ball is still in play. We are still running, 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 running. We're not walking. We're playing. Um, if the ball bounces off the post, the goal post, like it did, like at least 2 or 3 times during the game, or is blocked, don't just stop. It's like it's not the end of the game. And there the ball's still live. The ball is still live until the ref blows it out of bounds or the ball goes in. And that was something that happened a couple times throughout the game. Was we just stopped playing at a couple plays, or we had a good blocks. We had a few good blocks um, from the goal, and it just unfortunately that some of us thought that it was over. We blocked it, and that was it. But they kept applying that pressure, and they punched it in. So we need to learn to play until the whistle. Play until the whistle, um, and you can hear it on the audio recording from both sides. So play the whistle. Don't stop until that ball's in the net or it's out of bounds, or the referee or some other issue, some other thing happened on that field. Make sure our equipment's secured. That's an easy fix. So make sure your shirt's tucked in, you have your socks pulled up, things like that. We can't afford to have referee stop the game because to tell you tuck your shirt in, or that your shoelace is untied. Because and this is out on both ends. That we've seen a couple times where they stop the game so that way everyone's cleats are tied. Yes, that's a safety issue. So they're not gonna let you play with untied shoelaces on there, like you're tripping because it's a hazard. But then while that's happening, even though they stop the game, it doesn't stop the clock. So the clock is still ticking. So we lost time when they had to stop again for the other team, for their players had to tie their shoes or tuck a shirt in, or vice versa. So as long as we make sure that our equipment is secure, then we're good to go. So we don't waste time on that we can use on trying to put the pressure on them attacking and getting that ball on their side of the field. Urgency and effort made to get back to defense. Okay, so it's a lot of times to where for some reason we was way up front. Defense was all the way up front, and when the ball was heading back on a goal kick from the other team, or we had to pass, or ball intercepted and is going back, there was no like effort or urgency to hurry up and get back, to rush back, and we were left defending. There's like no one back there. Everyone was still like in mid the field, and we had they had their speedsters and breakaway to come down, and was able to taking shots at the goal. So we need to do a better job at putting more effort to get back. So we're not walking back. You need to be running back. Okay, everyone's running. This is soccer, so running throughout the whole game. Okay, so again, position discipline applies here, because had we been back where we're supposed to be and not like out of position to where we had no one back there, we could have prevented the offense from pressing. um, that quickly. So, and they're going to be really aggressive when they know that there's no defense there. So that's what happened. Didn't happen a lot of times, and they didn't score a lot of times from it. But you know, it could have been worse than what happened than it was, right? So fullbacks not chasing the ball, not focused on defense. So let me go on here. So when I'm talking about handy dandy and square, so the fullbacks. This is what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about the fullbacks. So we had the ball, like say like up here. They had like one of their defenders, or not offenders. They had one of the ball carriers. But then we found the fullbacks like all the way up here in this area. And so what happened was this whole area here, this whole area here was open. That was wide open. They had their person here and here. They applied pressure by passing the ball around. And then once they got in, once they got within range, right? They took a shot at the goal. Um, so we need to be aware that we're supposed to be at. So very important. Again, position discipline. When it comes to that. So we have other people. That's their job up until they get beat, and then you approach. But we don't want to leave that wide open. Next down on the list, uh, cleaner passes. Better passes. So we had some passes that could have been better. We had passes that were sent out and they ended up going out of bounds because they weren't um, as great. You passed it, but we weren't really aiming that well. So we need better job at doing those, getting better at that, so they don't go out of bounds or to the other team. Kicking towards the back. Okay, so that's an easy one to fix. So we don't want the ball. If we're back here, and I know we're playing defense and we're trying to keep the ball, but we don't want to kick the ball back here or here, because when you do that and you're facing this direction, there's a potential that you could accidentally kick it towards our own field goal, right? Towards our own goal post. And we end up scoring on ourselves. We don't want that. Or kicking it here, if we kick it to the back way, that's what? Yes, that's a corner kick for the other team. So if anything, if we have no other option, if you have no other option here, and we just want to not allow them to get the ball, kick it out of bounds. At least that way they can, they'll have to go and it's a throw in here, and then we can reset. But there needs to be some effort. So once that happens, as soon as that happens, they're moving quick. So this team is moving quick the whole time. As soon as they got the throw in, they weren't gonna wait. And that's something that we in some practice we cover. So look, I told you in practice that they're not gonna wait for you to be set. For the throw ins. The referees, as soon as they get the ball, is thrown in. So even if this happened, we have to be prepared. And if you're not where you're supposed to be at, we're not communicating to the midfielders or paying attention to what's going on here, that's gonna be bad business for us. Bad news bears. Even though we're not the Bears, but I like using that reference from the classic baseball series, TV series, Bad News Bears. Um, Again, position discipline. I'm gonna keep saying position discipline because um, overall we did a pretty good job for the most part, but we need a better job at being in our respective positions on the field. Um, so those little tweaks, or just little tweaks and adjustments, Our next game is gonna be a lot different, and our performance is gonna be a lot better. Um, Play with more confidence, right? Especially when it comes to for the goalies when you're catching and blocking, be more confident. You catch the ball, you catch it, you make sure you're gonna catch it. If anything, if you're unsure of, you can punch the ball. You don't always have to catch it. So if you're not that comfortable with catching the ball, you can at least, you know, use two hands to punch the ball, or to block it, push it that way. Um, so so what happened there was we had to catch it, and we dropped it, and it fell into a goalpost. But that's okay. We'll get better, so it's just like more experience, right? More experience, and more time practicing for things like that. Um, Trying to win the ball. So we talked about this a couple times. We even had a drill that worked on just defending, right? Not trying to steal the ball, not trying to win the ball, but to defend. And I am more interested in defending than winning, because at this level, right? At this competitive level, and there's people different kids at different skill level here, but it is still competitive, and they're gonna have like a couple kids that have been playing for a couple while, so we can't really risk trying to always win the ball every single time. And what happened was a couple of times, we tried winning the ball, we tried going for a kick, or we tried doing these things where we didn't defend. We rather played the ball than the opposing ball carrier, and then we lost. Lost position. They came in, took a shot at the goal, and they scored. Especially um, if you're one back here. So we can't be trying to win the ball if you're a fullback. If you're one of the fullbacks, that's a huge risk if you're trying to take a swing. So let's say there's right fullback here, and say Seven has the ball. He's coming. They're coming down here, this direction, and we decide to come up and take a swing at the ball. So just we take a swing at the ball, but then they sidestep that huge swing. He gets to recover, and he's flying, right. He's already flying. It's wide open, and as soon as it just takes a few moments, a few more steps, take a step in within range, and taking a shot at the goal. Um, and that's what happened a couple times during the game, but that's okay. So now that you've seen it happen, now you know why I tell you um, to play, to stay in front of them, right? To defend the ball, not trying to win the ball for that exact reason. Um, but we can make an adjustment here and there, so it's always it always feels great when you win the ball. But sometimes you got to make those little decisions that, okay, well, should I win? Should I make the should I try to win the ball here where I'm defending, or should I try to win the ball, say, if it was up here, right? So it would make better sense for us to win the ball when the ball's on this side, right? Because even if we lose the ball, then the ball is still on their side of the field. That's kind of okay, because we need to win the ball because we're trying to get the ball to score, right? Here, we're trying to defend the ball. So we're trying to defend the ball here. We're not trying so much to win the ball, because if we lose the ball, then we lost that defensive advantage we had, right? Or it's like advantage, but we lost that defensive position there, and then we get an opportunity to score when within range. So yes, so we're playing on this side of the ball. We're defending, okay? So we're defending, Uh, More so than trying to win the ball here. We can try to win the ball in this while we're here, but not in the backfield. We can't just afford to take that risk and to lose the ball. And then we gotta be careful when you penalty box with the goalie. If the goalie has the ball, if he goes in and he dives for the ball, you cannot touch him. You cannot try to attempt the kick. That's a foul. You can get flagged for that. Don't do it. Um, and it was really hard. We're all, like I said, the intensity of the match, and it's like, man, we're about to score. We got to score. The ball's loose, and he gets there. But once the goalie has a hand or plays the hands on ball, is considered having control of the ball. And once the goalie has control of the ball, you can no longer um, attack the ball. The ball is no longer in play. Okay, so you got to be careful with that. Overall, we did a pretty decent job, and as we got to clean up a few things, be more organized in the back end, more communicating, and just kind of like, hey, we need to be more urgency, or like make more of an effort to run to where you're supposed to be at. So I'm gonna go now and explain what I think they were using. So I know this team, I know their players, I know how aggressive they can be. So that's exactly what happened. So you see here, they used either two strikers and a center mid, or three strikers. So pretty much it was, I think it was like a 3-2-3 formation, because they had their three best players always up front here, right? So they're always up here, and they were always pushing forward. So you had, I think this was 7, 10, and 12, or whatever it does, whatever the numbers were, right? All that matters is that they had three up front that was always pressing the ball and passing the ball around. And then we didn't really see much of the midfielders. They stayed pretty much in that general area. They stayed in that general area as to support the offensive players, and then to support on defense. So when the opposing coach called for a defensive change, all five of them, swapped out, and they got five other players came in. So they were these midfielders were used pretty much mostly for defense, and then they were pretty much all offense, and they're like on full throttle. So that's pretty much what we saw throughout the game. And for kickoffs, this is what we saw for kickoffs, right? And I told you this would happen. I told you in practice that this would happen. That once they kicked the ball off, that they were gunning it. They had the ears pulled back, on the go. So as soon as they kick off, boom, they're already attacking, and trying to get the ball back. So, and this is one thing that I stressed in practice. Is like, look, during the kickoff, this is what you need to watch out for. And I have I think I have on collections that, see if I can get to it. Where is it? I guess I don't have it here. Let me see. Let me see if this is it. Okay, this is not. This is like an old one. So let me go. Let me go back. So pretty much what I had, right? If we're defending, right? If they have the kickoff, if they have the kickoff, we need to be aware of where. Oh, this is a new thing. Of where these players are at. So we did make a mental note of where these at. And then once we got familiar with the players, just like I said, right? Once we got familiar with who they are, like the numbers or names or whatever, hey, we marking them, right? So and let's use the numbers as their jersey numbers. So let's say 8 was one of their forwards, and 7 was one of them, and then 9 was the other one. So we need to make a mental note, and so whoever is the strikers up here need to make a mental note. We need to communicate that with the rest of the team. Hey, watch 8, watch 9, watch 7. They can communicate with this midfielder. Say, hey, mark 7. Okay, I got it. So when they're doing that, when they're doing that, this is what. Hold on. My bad. Let me go into my line tool. So this is what occurred, but not in that color. So hey, mark 7. So they know that 7 is one of their strikers, or like offensive players, right? They need to watch out for it. They're gonna mark them. They're gonna watch out for them, right? So 7, and they're gonna communicate back here. Say, hey, it's like 7 is their striker. So whenever 7 comes in the backfield, guess who picks up 7? This person does. So not only is 7 being picked up by this midfielder here, it's all being picked up by other defender, this fullback here. And then at the start, they're looking out for them, and them. But they're going to push forward, so we'll see, who's going to fall back. But primarily, these are people on the outboard, right? That that are going to be marked. Okay, so they're the one that's going to be marked, and the communication needs to start early on. As soon as like the kickoff is about to start, before a game or during the game, any like after a score, and we got the kickoff. We need to like do like another check, another reminder check. Hey, we still got so and so, or because sometimes they have subs, they got substitute, and they can substitute other players. So then like a new person come in. So they say that he goes out. I'm putting here for now, and they got a number 10 that comes in, and then number 7's out, and then now they're in, and then they subbed out that person for this person. So now you got to communicate when it's like new personnel. Say, hey, mark 11, mark 11, mark 12, mark 10, and you got to pass it back because they might not pay attention. They might not know who's the new people that got in, right? So we got to make sure that we're spreading the word and we're communicating. Okay, so we have to do a better job at that. So we're doing that. It gets passed back here, and then they're all passing with each other. Hey, so I'm gonna get 11 on this side, and then also got 12 in case he comes down here. But then 3 is picking up everyone that comes within in there, right? But we have other midfielders that's playing defense too. So this position discipline. Now that you got kind of like an idea, right, of how this should work, I also want to show you on FC25. So again, I played a simulation game, and at the end of the game, it gives you a summary of your performance. There's your possession, the ball, the shooting, passing, and then the position-wise, also like overall position. So let's switch over to that, right? And that way you get a better sense. So if you see your position here, then you're gonna get like an idea of where you should be at, right, compared to where you at during that game. So we have here the left wing. So this was, I think I was playing with France. Yeah, the France team. Um, so left wing, right? So this is the left wing, and the whole area was in the blue. See, this is blue, and the brighter the blue is where the majority, and like the lesser, more grayed out blue is where they're at the least. So, but you can see this is where they're at the whole game. They weren't down here and they weren't up here. They're right in this area. Their respective position as a left winger, right? Now, Mbappe is a striker. So as a striker, he plays up here. So this is where his position at for this formation on the field, and this is pretty much where he was at the whole field. That's his area of responsibility up here, pressing, attacking. Never down here. Never down here, right? Then you have the right wing. So the right wing, you're always high and to the right. So, so always high up in the field and to the right. And that's where he was. All in this, where the blue is at. And maybe, so, maybe there was a bit more action for him during the game. Um, and so you see him kind of like a bit more on this field. But the majority of the time, he's right here on the right side. Because that's what his area's responsibility is at, right? Then you got left, center, mid. So you have these two positions here. They're the center midfielders. You have a left center midfielder and a right center midfielder. And middle of the field is right there. Middle of the field, that's their area responsibility. Midfielder. So pretty much like this whole left side, right? From goal, well, from like box to box. And that's his area responsibility. Then you have the right midfielders. It's quite like the opposite. There's a bit more action in the center. He probably got the ball more a lot here because of his skill set. So he got the ball a lot in this area, but still, it's still pretty much within his area's responsibility in the center, right? And then like on the right side up here. And sometimes he was down here for whatever reason. He was down here, but he was up and down, like on the right side, right center. Okay, so we had the center defensive or center midfielder, right? Or more of a defensive midfielder because he's playing right here. So this was his area right here in the center. That's the key word, center, right? You gotta have these key words for your position. Center, that means here. Not on the left, not on the right, not up front, and not back. And he's in the center, right here, right? So you have to keep that in mind. So if you're left wing, you're on like the left side. So these directions and positions there for a reason, because everyone's doing their part, and they're not going where their area is not where they're not supposed to, because that's not their job. That's not the area of responsibility. And we have our left back, our left fullback on the left side, left center back, the left side, left center. So you don't see him up here because that's this person's job. Because if did that, this would be wide open. And then same thing for the right center back, right side of this center. So can you see the distinction from left and right? Left center back, right center back. Center, but on the right side. Center, but on the left side. We have the right back on the right side, right? Because that's the area of responsibility. They're not playing up here. They're not on the left side. They're not trying to, help out over here, because their job is to maintain this defense in this spot, in this area here. Because if they go away, This spot's wide open. See all this blue? It's wide open if they go over here. And then of course the goalie, your area responsibility is that net. You know, you have that net, and maybe you go up here, you kind of go up here a little bit, and it comes back down. Not out here, not out here, right here. This is where you're supposed to be at. You come up a little bit when we're pushed up, and that's pretty much it. So one last thing. So let me I'm gonna go ahead and clear this. I'm gonna reset. So free kick, right? So free kick. Some of us, well, it's a lot of us that weren't at practice or probably didn't remember. But when we're blocking a free kick, right? When they get like a directional free kick, we need to form a wall. And remember, the closer you can be is 10 yards, right? 10 yards, 10 feet, 10 yards from the team that is placing or that's taking the kick. So we had this situation in the game. Their kick was here, and then the reason why we have to communicate is like we could be prepared. We weren't really prepared because they could form a wall. So we had this happen, right? And maybe they came and did one of these things. This area was open. It's not really like defended. But what should happen is that it'll be the midfielders that are forming a wall. Midfielders should be the one forming a wall. We're staying back here. If there's people here, you're marking them. So if they have like someone here, we're marking them. Right? So he's gonna stand out. They're gonna break off to cover that. But more importantly, we're defending this kick from going in. Right? So we're defending this kick from going in by forming a wall here. It's important that this wall is created by the midfielders and not so much the fullbacks because they gotta be back here to assist. You know, they're marking this person and they're kind of like on the lookout. They kind of maybe they're over here. They're standing like right here to mark this person. They can have other people out. So let's give them their defense real quick. And they have the midfielders at 9, that's 9. So they could be pressing. They might have someone like right here. And kind of something like that, right? So we had to be quick about it. We had to communicate. Okay, so depending on where that's at, you know, if it's over here, you know, that wall's gonna be made by most of the midfielders. We're marking people here. So the fullbacks shouldn't be one creating a wall here when they have people here. You know, I'd rather have the center back and these other defense here to help cover and pick up these other players here, marking these players. They can create a wall too. They can fall back to help and form a wall, but you know, probably they'll come back here a little bit because I'd rather them stay up here, like where they're supposed to, right? Let me see if I can, just like in here, right? So this is where they should be at. Maybe down here. Down here is okay if they're like, um, you know, for this purpose here, right? They can be like in this area. Down here, like you know, for the a free kick down here, right? But the majority they can be up here. They can stay high and wide, right? But yeah. So those are the notes. Those are the things that we can easily fix. Easily fix. Maintaining position discipline, staying where you're supposed to be at. Um, and if you still don't have an idea of what that is, then let me go back here real quick, and I can gladly let me I think this will be faster. So again, we're using a 3-4-3, right? That means three defenders, three midfielders. I'm sorry, 3-3-2, right? So 3-3-2. This may change. I may change this formation. That's something that would better benefit us in our play style. But for now, we just keep it here. So we have the fullbacks, right? Fullbacks here, midfielders, and then we have our forwards, right? So if you're on the left side, and let's go like what's hot? Okay, so like hot and cold, right? So usually codes on what the right side, faucet, and the red's the left. So let's use red for left and right for blue. So let's do red. And so if you're playing these positions, you're going to be mostly playing. This is where you're going to be at on the field on the left side. And if you're on the right side of the field, this is where you're going to be at, right? Now that we have that, you're left, left, right, right, you're in center, then you're in the center. But I'm not going to kind of over complicate this. And so your responsibility as shown in that diagram that I use, or whatever you want to call it. So this area here, right? And if you're here, you're in this area, right? Here you're playing like in this area here, right? Um, you're not playing over here. You're not playing here. You're not playing here. You're playing right there. Okay, so I think you get the gist. And we'll cover more of this if we can. We were told that we may get another practice squeezed in throughout the season. Unfortunately, that's pretty much it. We'll have to find ways to practice, whether it's on a Sunday, maybe there we get a field on during the week somewhere where we don't have a game schedule, or we can do something like online, something like this live, and everyone kind of like I can kind of like do like a little whiteboard thing. But yeah, thanks. Really appreciate you taking the time to checking this out. I'm cover the notes real quick. I'm gonna go and blast through them. Position discipline, right? We don't want to bunch up all in one area, but now that we know where we're supposed to be at, that's not gonna happen, right? We're gonna fix these. We can make adjustments. We shouldn't bunch up because now we know where we're supposed to be at. We know where we're not supposed to go. We let them handle their job. We handle our job, right? Let them handle the left side while we handle the right side, and vice versa, right? Staying in front of the defender, staying in front of the defender, right? Don't just let them go to your left and let them beat you. Uh, Meet up with them, put the pressure on, and applying the 4 P's, right? Putting the pressure. Um, Positioning is important, right? Um, what's the other P? Poking, and then man, I'm kind of like forgetting here. I'm like so many things on my mind right now. pressure positioning, um, poking, and the other P. I'm gonna have to cheat. Where's my cheat sheet? Where, and I might have to come back to that. So I don't want to. So now I have it here. Patience. I'm not having patience myself enough to do that. So you gotta have the patience, right? So be patient when you're defending. They're gonna screw up. Be patient. So apply that pressure, right? Make sure you're in good positioning. Patiently waiting to see, like waiting, you get them down, and then poking, right? You can poke the ball out of there, right? So the defense, right? Okay, so next up, setting up the corner defense. So when it's time for the set of corner defense, you're where you should be at. I remember, so this is us, right? So this is us. So if you're playing the left fullback, this goalpost, right fullback, this goalpost. Center back is coming back here. So center back, you're gonna phone right back here. If you're the left midfielder, this corner here, like we want to form a box, right? We're gonna do this, right? So look, corner, center, the center line on this box here, and we just kind of fall back. Everyone just kind of fall back here like this. So this is what we should be doing on the corner kick defense, right? We're creating this box here. We're defending this box here, and this our winger, right? They're going to mark in case they have taking a kick and they have someone here. So they're gonna pick this person up, and they're gonna have people in here. But we're not gonna worry about what's going on here. That's gonna be well defended, right? So the purpose of this person here is that in case to go for a pass, and this person's here in case they want to go for a cross, and they're crossing it over here to this side. But yeah, so make sure you're taking time to communicate and say, hey, corner kick, let them know, they might not be here. Corner kick. They're gonna run down because again, they're not going away. Once they get their players in place, they're making that kick. They're kicking it in. They're communicating position discipline. Like you can hear that at least 6 more times, right? Play until the whistle. You block the goal, you stop the goal, and the whistle's not blowing. That ball is considered still in play. Because anything can happen. Hits the goalpost, and hey, you need to get back up. You fall down, that ball is still alive somewhere. We need to be able and try to find the ball and protect the ball, defend the ball, right? So we play until the whistle. Security equipment, making an urgency, making an effort to get back to the ball, right? If we're up, position discipline. I'm gonna keep like this. Keep saying that, right? I'm keep saying that. Make sure that we have defense when they're supposed to be there. We're not chasing the ball. Again, that's position discipline. You're not kind of bunching up. Position discipline again. Better passes, cleaner passes. With better passes, that's less balls that's going out of bounds, less balls that will get intercepted by the other team. Let me see, and that's pretty much it. Playing with more confidence. Be confident. And it also includes when you're playing on defense. Don't just wait for them, because be confident that you can defend the ball. Okay, don't be scared. Be confident that you can stop them and you can slow them down. Okay. Because they're not professionals. We're not playing against Mbappe or Ronaldo or anyone like that. These are kids are your own age. Some just may have been playing soccer a bit longer than you have. That's it, right? That's it. And this all comes with more experience and just playing more in general, right? Well aimed shots at the goal, make sure you're taking better shots. Taking a free kicks, or you're taking a kick anywhere in the field, and not trying to win the ball, but we're trying to defend if we're back here, and we're trying to win it if we're playing on the offense. We're on the attacking phase on the right side of the field. if we're over here, we're trying to win the ball because we're trying to score, right? We're trying to win the ball here because we're trying to score. We're trying to defend the ball because we don't want them scoring, right? We don't want them scoring, so we're trying to defend the ball, right? Defend, attack. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So hopefully, um, we will be able to perform a lot better. Like it wasn't a terrible game. We just little things here and there, little miscommunication on the field, um, because we people weren't really comfortable, and there wasn't a lot of confidence, and wasn't really as organized because people weren't there during practice, which is okay. Um, we have this material here for you to look at and go over. Okay, now I know where I'm supposed to be at. This is what they're going to be doing. Now I know. Now we know how to counter that. So again, I told you that um, our first game is gonna be one of those games that's like a trial thing, right? So we probably played the best team in the league. So I'd rather lose our first game than win our first game because it tells us they'll teach us a lot of things that we need to know about the team, our teammates, and the game in general, and the pace of the game when it comes to playing other teams. So now that we have all this knowledge, we have all the data now. Now we take that data, we take all this knowledge, we make adjustments, and then we put it into place at our next game. And I guarantee you that not only that we will perform better, but we're gonna start winning more games and get more confidence with yourself, and that's pretty much it. So I think we have a good shot at being the top four, at least a top four team, if not top five team in the league. Um, that's my goal. Like ideally we all want to win, right? But we all can't win. What we can do is we can win by learning something every day, every game. And so as long as you learn something, it's a win, right? It's win as long as you learn something and you can make those adjustments and become an overall better player. So with that, um, I'm gone until next video. Again, you can make a comment, something if you want to see me cover something that I didn't cover in this video. Um, Drop a comment. If you want to like, if you want to subscribe, that's cool. You don't have to, but this is more for educational purposes. For our team. And if you're watching this and if you get something from this, that's great. So done here, and I'll catch you after our next game. Okay. Peace.